Okay, so let's take a look at a real life scenario, and where this may be useful is, in this case, I have a logic hook that fires when I add a new lead to the subpanel of leads, and then it changes stuff in the backend through the logic hook. So it changes the status of this record from available to offer. But the problem is that I need to refresh the page manually in order to see the change. And what I want is to pull the new status from the backend and then display it on the front end right away. So the way that we're going to do it is very simple. We're going to first create a controller, a custom controller inside this module here, which is going to go in the custom modules, name of the module controller. We're going to create the class, which is name of the module controller, and then we're going to extend the default sugar controller. But be careful, if you have a controller that's been created for this module specifically, that's what you'll be extending. In this case, it's just the default sugar controller that I'm using. Then we're going to deal with a function called action subpanel viewer. And why we're dealing with this one, the logic here is very simple. I'm going to add the lead, and then I want suiteCRM to notice that the lead has been added to this specific module. And when this happens, that's when I wanted to pull the new status from the backend and populate this with the new status that I pulled from the backend. And this is going to make more sense because once we fire this function here, so once we add a new lead to the subpanel, something very useful is going to happen. It's going to generate a request array right away in real time. So whenever you add something to the manipulate the leads subpanel, actually any subpanel, it's going to generate a nice log that looks like this, which is very complete, and it's going to give you a bunch of info about the stuff that just took place. So at that point we can basically validate, because I don't want it to be pulling stuff from the backend if we're refreshing another subpanel, only if we're dealing with the leads, because my logic hook is tied to the leads. So the validation is pretty straightforward. I'm just basically saying, okay, the module, we're inside the unit of inventory. The subpanel is the lead subpanel. So once all of this is validated, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch the new status from the backend. So the status got changed by the logic hook, and now I want to get the new status by calling the bean factory. I'm specifying the name of the module here, which is available inside the request array, and the name of this, the ID of this record. So it's going to be available in the request also under record. And then I'm just going to pull the new status. So the new status is available by basically just checking what the property of this status of this field is. So now the last thing that is that remains to be done here in terms of gathering the information is basically we're just going to gather the field to update. In this case, it's going to be status C. And how I got it is just by looking at the HTML. So we're going to open this up, and we can see here that the field is status. So this is the stuff that we want to update, and it's going to be used right here. So this is the code that interests us. You can forget this, it doesn't matter. We're going to basically create the JavaScript snippet here. And the JavaScript snippet, what it does, basically waits for the document to load, and then we're using a query selector. So the query selector, we're basically specifying we want something with the type of enum, and we want the field to be the field to update. So we want the field to be status C. And if you remember the markup, that's what it is. It's type enum, and field is status C. So we're going to grab that element, and we're going to modify the inner HTML. So we're going to basically just update this to what it is now in the backend. So in the backend, it's now going to be this after the update. So grab whatever it is now in the backend and update the div container inner HTML with the correct value by using this here. Let's see it in action. So I'm going to add a lead. This adding of the lead is going to change the status in the backend to to offer, and it's going to change our status live on the screen to offer as well. I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, because I'll be making more of these in the future. Thank you.